Good morning, everyone. Again, this is a Wednesday, April 9th, 2025 at 10:55 in the morning. This is a joint hearing between the House Commerce and Economic Development Committee and the Senate Economic, General and Housing Committee on the tariff issues that have befallen us in the United States and Canada. And we'll continue our hearing. So next we have Robby Ringer. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you all for having me. My name is Robby Ringer. I live in Richmond, Vermont. I am one of the owners of Bivo. We are the first designers, developers of a stainless steel bottle that fits into bike cages. Believe it or not, that had not been done before. We are the first. We're in Richmond. We've got 8 people working for us. If you know where the Goodwin Baker building is in Richmond, it's an old underwear factory from 1901. We've got an awesome team there. We ship, receive everything out of there. We started 4 years ago. My wife and I started the business, and we've been growing very fast. We've got about 350 retailers in North America that we work with. We work with MEC up in Canada. They were actually cold called us, which they're like the REI of Canada, and to get a cold call from a retailer of that caliber is just crazy. So needless to say, success has been awesome. Being in Vermont is incredible. The retail environment here and the support is awesome. I'm here to share a little bit of the story. To be totally honest, I just want to educate you with what we're going through and looking for hopefully all of us to work together to figure out what solutions are available.
And great. Were you here when we all introduced ourselves?
I was, yes. I've been here the whole morning. This is my first time here and it's super exciting.
Well, welcome. It's great to have.
Thank you. So I think probably the question everyone's asking is where the heck are these bottles made? They're made in China. 95% of the world's stainless steel bottles, Hydro Flask, Yeti, Stanley, Clean Canteen, every one of the bottles sitting on this table is made in one province in China. Renowned Skis spoke to the cost of opening up the factory. It is daunting, and there's a reason most brands don't own their own factories. There are 20 different molds to make one single bottle, and one mold costs $25,000. And needless to say, there's 20 different machines to use the 20 different molds to make it. It's an unfeasible burden for startup businesses to open up a supply chain in the US, unfortunately. Previous to starting Bivo, my wife and I ran a footwear development agency. We lived in Portland, Oregon, and we worked with 20 to 30 different startups from around the world, from small brands all the way up to Brooks Running. Our job was sourcing and managing supply chains and developing product. We did it in Cambodia and Vietnam and Thailand and China, in Mexico, and believe it or not, we also set up a factory with one of our partners in the US. It was with the most automated and high-tech machinery out of Germany, and it failed and did not work. So when I say that it is not viable for us to make our product domestically, I unfortunately believe I'm correct in saying that. So tariffs, what is that doing to our business? Everything I calculated for saying today has actually just doubled since last night. So just assume that my numbers are double, considering what happened last night with 104% tariff. But right now we make everything in China, like I said. And I think the biggest thing to speak to that's already been spoken to today is cash flow. So we obviously are going to take a massive margin hit with how we sell our products. On average, our bottles are about $40. Before last night, we could put it up $5 to $8. Call that a cup of coffee, a beer, a small item. Like that might be manageable for the public to do and our customers to do. That claws back a little bit of our margin. But the massive impact is the cash flow needs. So we just took in our first full 40-foot container of product for our spring launch that came in a month ago to Richmond, to our warehouse. We paid previously $40,000 worth of duty. Next time, and we're doubling our business. We're about a $2 million business, and we've been doubling every single year. Our next purchase order, it'll cost $209,000. And that was before last night. The 104% tariffs. We were at a 55% like weighted average yesterday. Now that, let's call it 100%. That's times 3 throughout the year. We take in 3 purchase orders a year. I do not have $150,000 times 3 an additional cash to sit around. And at the same time, I think the most painful thing is all these small businesses, ourselves included, need, like, we don't have cash reserves, right? We're not massive. We are at a break-even point in 2025. We're just going to turn profitable, which I was so excited about. We got our first line of credit through a local vendor in Vermont about 6 months ago, which is awesome because this is truly the only asset that we have in terms of like collateral in our business, and what costs the most money is buying product. We were posed to get a extended line of credit 3 weeks ago, and it completely disappeared. And there's no other lending out there for small businesses right now. So I'll talk about that a little bit more as we move forward, but lending and cash flow right now are like the two biggest hurdles. And I to be totally honest, I'm shaken out of nerves in speaking to you. I'm shaken because I don't think most of these small businesses are going to survive if things don't change. So we do about a third of our business internationally. About a third of our wholesale business specifically is actually Canada, which I'm super proud of. We've had a retailer pull out. They didn't want to do business with us very respectfully, which I actually pride them in to some extent, because you have to have national pride. And they were super graceful in what they said. MEC, which is the, one of the largest outdoor sporting goods companies in Canada, the REI of Canada, has slowed their orders. We work with a distributor in the Benelux region and the DACH region, which is like Germany, Austria, Switzerland, and we sell a lot into Japan. All of them are coming to us asking what's going on. A lot of them are coming with concerns from young retailers saying, I don't know if I want to do business with the US. I'm not sure if I should do business with a brand. And we're just sitting here screaming, yelling, like, we are not the administration that is putting this through. Like, we are a community together, which I think has been such like an incredible thing that I've heard today, is this joint relationship between Vermont and Canada. And it's bigger than that in terms of the communities that we need to like group together. So we're doing a few different things. We're doing everything possible to make us navigate through this. I have stopped basically all goods coming to the US because there's so much uncertainty and volatility that I don't have any idea what's going to happen today or tomorrow or the next day. I'm pretty excited about bonded warehouses. That might be something to explore jointly together. So bonded warehouse, if you're unfamiliar with it, is essentially, I like to think of it as a no man's land for where a product sits. It can come into the US and it is not dutied or tariffed. It sits there until you pull out of it. And if you pull out of it, then your duty is taken. So if I have 44,000 units or a container of goods coming in, and I put them all into the bonded warehouse, I've only paid my factory for those goods. I haven't paid the federal government the 104% duty. As I pull out of it to ship to you or to you or to you or to Mark at Outdoor Gear Exchange, then I am duty for that. So that is a cash flow solution. There's not tons of bonded warehouses around. I was just speaking with somebody yesterday that runs a warehouse in Williston, and they're trying to pivot their warehouse to become bonded. You can go through the Port Authority to go through measures to become a bonded warehouse. That's a massive opportunity. And then in regards to just why I'm here and what I think we can do together, speaking up and being able to have these opportunities to speak is incredible. This is my first time here, like I said, and I think small businesses are the backbone of this country, and the hardship that we're going through, like, I barely have time to call anybody to seek a solution, which is something that we've talked a lot about today. Just like, how do you carve out capacity when you have 8 people wearing 12 different hats already to say, actually, you should pause and do all this, when truly like cash and sales are king, and you need to keep going forward and making sure your business can generate revenue. So thank you again for letting me speak. I'd say like fair and consistent trade policy. The like volatility is the crazy piece of this. It is making everyone lose sleep and, quite frankly, wasting time. I think in terms of maybe what we can do here in Vermont, again, I know cash is tight for everyone, but like any type of grants, education, or infrastructure to focus on US manufacturing would be incredible. We make these in China. There's no way the bottom end of this, the metal part, is going to be made in Vermont anytime soon. but that plastic injected piece totally can be. And I think in terms of around like grants and development programs that could be put in place to help small businesses actually navigate who are the options on the table that could help us do that. It's a $25,000 mold in China. It's probably $50,000 here. Is there any way to figure out how we could either craft grants and or lending? I think would be a massive thing. I realize cash out is hard if it doesn't come back, but cash out that comes back into the economy through lending, I think is an incredibly important thing. Vita, a local program, would be an awesome opportunity to look at to see if there's any way to extend lending. And I think the last thing I want to say before questions, I'm not from here. I grew up in Montana. I love Vermont. The community here is absolutely incredible. So in terms of like everyone else listening, like stay prideful. Like the community is the thing that's going to make us get through this. And I am so happy that so much support is there. So if you're thinking about what you can do, support a local business, continue to be prideful. My wife and I were out last weekend and felt an obligation to just go buy from small businesses. Being a small business, getting cash through the door is important from a cash perspective, but it's mostly important just from a community support perspective. So thank you so much for being here. I'm very happy to answer any questions.